I got maple walnut ice cream.
You say hi, Joey only.
Hey, Joey, how you doing?
Say hi, Joey only.
Hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey. I got my haircut today.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.
Good morning, Prince George. Good afternoon, Winnipeg, Manitoba. This is the Comedeorological Report. My name is Joey Only. I am your host here in Wells, British Columbia. Welcome to the show. We are here with our panel of comedeorologists. Comedeorology, comedy plus meteorology equals comedeorology. That's the study of how much the weather sucks in Canada, founded by myself and Frankie McDonald, the weatherman out in Sidney, Nova Scotia. We have a bunch of new comedeorologists coming on, but we do have Frankie McDonald, as always, out in Sidney, Nova Scotia. And we have the Western Canada weatherman himself out in Brooks, Alberta, 105.7 FM real country radio station guy, Brandon Houck. We got Robert out there in Burns Lake. We got Sean Keon all the way out in Ontario. More on that, but first, Frankie. How are you doing so far?
I'm doing great so far. It's warm outside in Sidney, Nova Scotia as of right now. Then it's going to bring south front on the weekend in eastern Canada, and it's going to bring cold air all the way down to southern states. Then it's going to bring the hot air all the way up to north central Canada. Then the cold air is going all the way down to California this week. That's going to bring lots of lake effect rain in Ontario because the lakes are warm in Ontario and the air is cold, triggering lake effect rain in Ontario as well. Thunderstorms. Wisconsin had big severe thunderstorms on Wednesday. Brought chain lightning, fair out thunder, heavy downpours, large hail. Damage was tornado touchdown in Green Bay. It was really, really bad right now. It's going to bring monsoon rains in eastern Arizona, parts of New Mexico, Utah, Grand Junction, Colorado, and all these places in western Mexico.
Excellent. How's the weather going on in Europe, Frankie? Russia and Ukraine, especially.
It's unusual weather. That means if there's a big dip in jet stream, that could cause sandstorms going on in Morocco right now. They're causing all the warm air and cold air fighting each other in Europe is right now, and exchange of showers and things like this is right now. They're bringing a lot of rain in India because the monsoon season has already begun. So same with Sri Lanka, parts of southern China, Taiwan, and Japan bring lots of rain right now. And New Zealand's getting more stormy weather soon. And northern Chile is really, really dry right now. South Africa is really dry right now. There's a man walked all the way from South Africa, going all the way to northeastern Russia. He's now in Turkey.
Do you think he's going to get across the border in Russia?
Don't know yet.
How's the weather in Russia? How's the fires?
It's really, really bad fires in Siberia right now.
What about the United Kingdom?
Over in the United Kingdom, it's bringing lots of showers right now. There could be some hot weather in southern UK and things like this. Over in southern France, it's really hot there. And Spain's getting really, really hot weather.
Here comes the story of the hurricane.
Have you heard much about hurricanes and tropical weather this week, Frankie McDonald?
There's a tropical storm or hurricane hitting off the west coast of Mexico. It's a Pacific hurricane.
Has there been any earthquakes of note this week?
They had a couple of minor earthquakes off the west coast of Canada.
That's correct. Correct indeed. How's the weather on Mars, Frankie?
A lot of big sandstorms going on in Mars lately.
How's the weather in Venus?
In Venus, it's a lot of it's so hot there. It's uninhabitable planet.
How's the weather on Europa?
Europa is that means that Europa is covered with ice. It's a water moon, but it's all covered with thick sheet of ice.
Do you think there's fish or sharks on Europa?
Don't know. It could be strange creatures.
There could be. It's not impossible.
You might have had sharks on Mars once upon a time.
Frankie McDonald, what kind of videos have you been on this week? Were you on with Gary and Dino in Vegas?
And I just did a video for the Gary and Dino show on Wednesday. This Tuesday past, I did a forecast for Wisconsin. I got 16,000 views on YouTube.
That's pretty good. What's your YouTube subscription membership like now?
279,000 subscribers.
279,000 subscribers on YouTube. Frankie McDonald, the man himself. Thank you, Frankie. Stick around, and we'll anytime you want to ask a question in our panel. Does anyone on the panel have a question?
I got my brand new haircut today.
You did. I see that. You hardly have hair now.
Gerard Coombs. He's my barber of Winnipeg area, Sidney, Nova Scotia.
Does anybody on the panel have questions for Frankie McDonald?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the reports of flooding in Alberta and parts of the Kootenays?
Really, 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 really bad right now.
That's Noelle Chaos down in Vancouver, just back from a trip around into Alberta and back with weather stories herself to show tonight. Any other questions for Frankie McDonald?
So many people in Asia are saying hi to me.
Are they?
Even Aruba.
Aruba. Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take you. Bermuda. Bahama. Come on, pretty mama.
And did you hear about that? Did you hear about that over in Russia? It's a conflict going on right now. They replaced McDonald's with something else over there.
Yeah, I hear they're gonna have Russian burger now. There's a tourist girl taking picture of my house outside the window right now. Life in Wells.
I'd like to introduce to my fans.
Oh yeah. A&W.
That's a special guest on the Joey Only show.
I couldn't really see anybody there. It just looked like a car. Who was that?
Hey, Frank, it's the best in the world. Yeah, that's Joey. That's the guy saying that. That's on the Joey Only show. That's a special guest.
Well, excellent. Tell him he's very welcome. Tell him to tune in on CFUR 88.7 FM or CKUW 95.9 FM every Saturday morning in Prince George at 10 a.m. and noon local time in Winnipeg on Monday. The show is being recorded on the 16th of June. You'll be hearing it in Prince George on the 18th. You'll be hearing it on the 20th in Winnipeg. Brandon Houck, what kind of weather would people in Winnipeg be having by that time? And what kind of weather has been this week?
It's going to get really hot weather in Winnipeg next week.
I see that you had a bit of a busy week, Brandon. You were riding around on tricycles or something like that, and you had some...
Yes, it was definitely an interesting week here. Weather-wise, we had this... before we get to that mid-latitude cyclone, you're talking to the champ here, the champion of the mini chalk wagons. So we rode on these little tricycles. We went around a couple barrels, and I guess my legs were short enough. I could pedal around those barrels and go around the horn and go right through the quarter and right into, right across the finish line, first place every race. I was really close to that last race, actually. The other person that was really, really close there, but that's the
closest you might ever get to a rodeo buckle.
And they're up with Brooks Public Library taking the early lead. Rotary Club catching up real fast, and Zelmore trying to make their way away in the corner. But Rotary Club is blazing through that middle lane. Brooks Public Library not too far behind. Zelmore losing some footing, and the Rotary Club takes around the corner. Brooks Public Library not far behind. Rotary Club.
I raced for the Brooks Rotary Club because they didn't have any racers, so they picked me, which probably was a good idea.
To my fans.
Oh, you got more fans!
I gotta do it.
Frank is my #1 fan, and every year he comes to watch us play baseball. Right, Frankie?
Before we go fishing, we check the weathercast with Frankie.
So you're getting the Wi-Fi, I see there at A&W.
Oh, we got more fans.
Yes.
Hello.
Hey.
What are we all having tonight? Teen burger?
Yeah, what is your favorite A&W? Are you hot on the Nashville chicken sandwich? Do they have that in Sidney, Nova Scotia?
Yes. I feel my fans was not introduced to your show.
I love it.
Okay. So, Brandon Houck, yes, so your first place at the mini chuck wagon race. Congratulations.
Oh,
Very
thank you.
impressive.
So what what I won for the Rotary Club is $15,000 to a charity of their choice. So monies go out for a good cause. I'm not quite sure what charity they chose, but it's 15,000 big ones. What those little
they can even give you $15?
maybe.
Couldn't have bought you a hot Nashville chicken sandwich. So talk to us about the weather this week, Brandon.
Okay, so the weather this week, absolutely bonkers. That is for sure. With this fairly potent low pressure system, we've had this we started off the weekend, actually last week for the mini chucks, it was like 28 degrees. So that was definitely our hottest day of the year. And then as we go into the weekend, we get in that instability build, and we had some little thunderstorms popping up here, there, a few severe storms, nothing as crazy as the other week there. And then we had this big, powerful low pressure system move in from Montana, and that was really ramped up that upslope flow. We've had a very heavy amount of rain in the southwestern foothills, which was needed. Now, the difference is from the 2013 to the rain that we had, there was some flooding that occurred with this event with some areas. I think Kananaskis had the highest amount of rain with up over 228 millimeters of rainfall over the last 3 days there. So that's definitely a significant amount of rain for the Kananaskis area. But the difference this time from this compared to 2013, well, with this storm, we had a very low water table, and most of us were in drought conditions across southern Alberta. So this actually kind of was pretty much beneficial for southern portions of Alberta, despite producing some kind of overland flooding at times. And so this was beneficial for us. We had the precipitation fall in the foothills. That's the most precipitation for the season so far. And higher elevations, it was cold enough for it to fall as snow instead of rain. So all the snowpack that was up there didn't all melt down and go down the rivers and cause any big issue as it could have done like it did back in 2013. So the deal in 2013, we had a very so much precipitation during the spring, and then you added in this precipitated event. That's what caused the significant flooding in High River and in Calgary and back towards Canmore there. But this wasn't the case this year because of the low water table and the precipitation falling on the mountaintops as snow. And we were in drought conditions across southern portions of Alberta. So that's why we didn't have a major significant event. If it was a more wetter season, like let's say if this storm happened in Manitoba and dropped 200 millimeters of rain, that would have been even bigger problems for them. So we got the storm this time, and it was pretty much beneficial for us. Now, we also had thunderstorms. We've also had funnel clouds develop with this thing. Nothing as while we had our first, they actually back on Friday, they actually gave us a rating for that tornado. Actually, earlier this week, the tornado touchdown in Enchant gave it an EF1 rating back on June the 6th there. And as I said, it was cold enough for it to fall as snow. We actually had accumulating snow both Sparwood and Elkford, British Columbia, on the BC side of the border. In the Cooney Pass, they had to bring out the snow plows. They had so much snow up there, at least 20 to 30 centimeters of snow. So quite a phenomenal situation indeed. And we have also had the thunderstorms roll across Manitoba, and still they're dealing with a flood situation there. Now, the story as we go into the weekend, into next week here, we are going to see an adjustment in the pattern a little bit. We're going to see our temperatures rise through the day tomorrow with temperatures exceeding mid to high 20s across southern Alberta. So that's going to be beautiful. We actually, with all the precipitation, we're actually going to hit humidex values for the first time in a couple of years. So it's going to feel like low 30s for a change. And southern Saskatchewan, there's heat warnings out for temperatures approaching 35 degrees this weekend, and humidex values on top of that as well, both in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. So they're going to get the heat this weekend, especially Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday of next week before it cools back down again with that chance of thunderstorms. And also with the heat, that means there's going to be a chance of severe weather this weekend in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba.
Woo! I think I got the lightning hits just over there. Just over there. Look at the storm. Beautiful. Getting closer and closer and closer and closer to the area. However, we've got a lot of cloud and showers building onto it. So that's why it's getting a little closer, since it's not really moving. So it all kind of joins together. And well, here we are going to get one big storm over the next couple of hours. Starting to rain now. Oh man. And it's starting to get a little cold out here too. That inflow is getting cold, and there's the thunder rumbling away out there. Get ready, we're gonna get rained on here. Big time scud tags back here. Wow, incredible.
Yeah, so the jet stream's been bending basically in kind of a wonky way. And that's been giving us, today in BC, it's been very thunderstormy, nothing severe, of course, but we have had a round come through here in Wells. And then Williams Lake's been hit twice. They just had, looked like marble-sized hail, maybe less. But significant amount of it, the heavy core just seemed to stall over Williams Lake and is somewhere down there, 100 and some odd kilometers southwest of me right now. Prince George, 60% chance of showers on Saturday, 19 degrees. So we do see it kind of warming up a little bit, though, because of that wonk in the jet stream that's bringing that hot air into the prairies. 22 degrees on Sunday, 21 degrees Monday, 21, mix of sun and cloud all these days. It's not till Wednesday that we start seeing a chance of rain again, maybe Tuesday night even. So that's to look forward to. If you've been enjoying the thunderstorms like I have, been very enjoyable to CFUR 88.7 and listeners in Prince George. That's your Prince George work week weather as we know it at this time. Any questions for Brandon Houck? I do have you all on mute.
I've been watching these. Actually, first of all, can you hear me all right?
Yes, yep. Robert Hall out west of Prince George.
Yeah, out Fraser Lakeway. I've been watching these systems both in Alberta and BC, and I'm noticing that a lot of them are coming in from easterly, northeasterly. And this has been going on probably almost 2 days now that I've seen it. My question is, when I looked at the radar, watching the storms hitting Williams Lake, they're going completely the opposite direction here. I don't have enough models to figure out what's going on, but isn't that more typical of a wintertime setup?
Yeah, good question there. Yeah, so typically, depending on where your low pressure is situated at, sometimes I've even noticed sometimes we've even had storms go the wrong way here in Alberta some years, all depending on the flow of the jet stream and the air mass that brings these storms. And sometimes you get backwards cold fronts that come from a storm system that comes in out of the northeast instead of the northerly flow. And then you definitely get your storm tracks going the wrong way. And sometimes you have a big, large lake and you get the kind of a lake effect scenarios. And if you got the easterly winds, that will push all the weather going eastward as well. So quite a few different scenarios with that. And looking at your current map right now, we have low pressure off to the northeast, Hinton area. So that's probably a good indication. That's why we've got more of an easterly track, because the it has that counterclockwise rotation. Yeah,
bringing in all the air from the north on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I had another question too. I forgot.
Well, we got a question for you, Robert. Talk to us about spring weather in Fraser Lake, what the weather's been like, how usual or unusual it's been, and
it's been an unusual spring. It's been very wet and it's been very cool. I don't think anybody's lawn around here has been greener and all the time since I've been here. You know, you go from the contrast of last summer, which was just extreme hot, and then this year is a polar opposite. Is almost it's almost like a natural correction of sorts, and it's helped out a lot up here. Actually, the temperatures are cool. Really sucks for the bugs, but we've had intermittent pleasant days. Yesterday was actually gorgeous, nice 24 degrees, sunshine. Clouds didn't roll in till well into the evening, so it was a good day. I mowed fields for about 8 hours. Grass is already that high. We'll say about 2.5 feet. I mean, considering how late the spring was, I mean, we were still getting snow in April and May. I got some cool pictures too of that.
So it's going to be a boom year for hay. I worry that we may have a repeat of 2020, I think it was, when basically a lot of hay rotted in the fields late in the season. Just so
because
much.
We had an earlier storm system, and it brought us some frozen precipitation and kind of wrecked things. And on and off rain. It prevented the harvest, prevented it from getting dried out. And yeah, a lot of people up here lost a lot of hay. And not just hay.
It's been several days on the tractor picking up rotten hay, basically, and loading it off over this guy. Yeah, he couldn't do anything with it except mulch it. We see that we got Joe Stover pop in, and he's in Winnipeg, but he's about to head back up to Churchill, Manitoba tomorrow morning via, I suppose. And you're probably on a tight schedule, so let's get your Winnipeg experience. How's the How Do You Do review been, and how's the weather for you, Joe Stover?
Well, let's start with the weather. Weather has been good. Starting to get hot. Starting to get, like, for me, I mean, there's probably folks in Winnipeg that are like, finally, it's seasonal. Well, for me, seasonal is well below this. It's
it's like I always say, people in Quesnel have these really good jobs at the mill, so they end up going to Mexico in the winter, Joe. And I live up here high in the mountains, and I don't have a good job again. When I go down to Quesnel, though, it feels like Mexico when I've been in the mountains too long.
Well, it's they're calling for a high of 36 here in Winnipeg on Sunday. Thankfully, I'll miss that because I'll be in Churchill where the high on Sunday is 11. I'm flying back to Churchill tomorrow. It's going to be 4 degrees when I land, and that is the high for tomorrow. So I'm one happy camper. As far as the weather goes, I did get a little bit of active weather, but we had talked about that on previous shows, that those cells that were having some fun in southwestern Manitoba, which Killarney seemed to be right in between. To the west, hail; to the east, funnel clouds, and I wasn't able to see any of it. So my quest for active weather right on top of me is the chances are decreased now because I go back to Churchill. Northern Manitoba doesn't have much. The Hudson Bay Coast, I should say, doesn't have much in terms of active weather in the summertime other than just rain. So we are hoping just for maybe some thunderstorms. We usually get 1 or 2 bangers every couple of years. So we're hoping for a light show this summer. Who knows?
You had your chance, Joe, but you were watching Captain America with your dad.
No, I was watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with my dad.
Even worse.
Oh, it was good. But I had when your old man asks you to sit down and watch a movie, you sit down and watch a movie. So,
hey, Joey, tonight, my fans, both male and female fans, appeared on your show tonight.
Did you know their names, Frankie?
Yes, I remember. They know me.
You don't know their names, though, eh? Do you know where you met them before?
They met me before a while ago.
Everyone in Sidney knows you, but you don't necessarily know everybody in Sidney. That's right.
That's for sure. And I'll just quickly give you that rundown on the How Do You Do review. Recording an episode tonight to air this weekend in Winnipeg on CKUW at 6 p.m. on Friday, and in St. John's, Newfoundland in CHMR 93.5 FM on Monday. So not too sure what I'm going to chat about this week, but I guarantee mucho fun or something like that. Not as good of a radio man as my buddy Brandon Houck out in Alberta, but golly gee, I try.
Joe Stover from the How Do You Do review on CKUW 95.9 FM, where you were listening to this show, the Comedeorological Report. I'm your host, Joey Only. Hi, I'm Joey Only, notable weather nerd, and today we're going to talk about the relationship between temperature and forest fires. It's June in Wells, British Columbia. Top of the day, hitting 17 degrees. Wow, she's warming up. Let's talk about the relationship between temperature and fire. So, what is temperature in regards to this discussion? Temperature is the hotness or coldness of the atmosphere at any given time, place, location, right? So it's a scientific measurement. It's outside of 17 right now. Maybe it'll go up to 17.3 later. Maybe it'll get up to 18. Maybe it'll go down later to 16.3. Maybe I can go up the hill, get a slightly different measurement. Maybe I can go to the lakes, get a slightly different measurement. So temperature varies between locations. We know this. Most of the heating in our atmosphere, it's indirect. You think about the atmosphere, the troposphere, the first 50,000 feet, it can be quite cold. As you get up higher and higher, it can be well below freezing, even at the height of summer. That's why you see contrails from airplanes making puffy clouds. The moisture comes out of the engine. And once you get up to 60,000 feet, it starts getting warmer and warmer. But all underneath that first 50,000 feet, most of the heat that's going to arrive there comes from ground heating, from the sun reaching through, hitting the ground itself, warming the ground. This is important to know for how thunderstorms are formed. That ground heating provides convection. The next thing temperature does is it preheats fuels. Preheats ground fuels, wood, things that are going to burn in your forest fire, right? Why is this important? Well, because fire itself isn't, like you think of a piece of wood burning, you think of the wood itself on fire, but actually that's not what's happening in the chemical process. What the chemical process is doing is gases are coming out of the wood. Those gases are then being ignited because they're hot enough. That provides the chemical reaction that provides fire, right? You need heat, you need fuel, you need oxygen, then you have fire. So why is this important? Because the warmer things are, the more they're going to off-gas. The more they're going to off-gas, the more they're likely to ignite. Well, what also happens to fuel when it's really warm? The moisture in it evaporates faster. The warmer it is, the faster that moisture evaporates. And the drier something gets, the more likely it is to burn. Well, temperature also affects the firefighters themselves. In British Columbia in 2021, when it was 48 degrees, who was able to actually fight fire in that temperature? And what was fire going to do in that temperature? It was going to be explosive because of how hot it was. So a firefighter might get cold, he might get hypothermia. This happens. You sweat too much and you're working up in the mountains and the sun goes down. This happens even in the height of fire season. People are unprepared for how cold British Columbia's mountains can be. And when it's too hot, what happens? Well, you're at risk of heat exhaustion and then heat stroke if it gets worse, which is a life-threatening condition. Throughout the day, temperature changes. When you get to the later afternoon, that's when things get drier. The humidity in the air, the amount of moisture in the air goes down most often. The temperature goes up. So late in the afternoon, that's when you can expect that. And that's going to cause fire conditions to do what? Well, we know what the 30-30-30 rule is. We know what crossover is. That means 30-degree temperature gets that high, but the humidity in the air goes below 30%. So that gets a crossover. Then you have winds of 30 kilometers per hour, pushing whatever direction. Explosive fire potential. Temperature has a seasonal variation, of course. The more sunlight hours you get in a day, the more likely you're going to have hotter days. The warmer the temperature, the longer the daylight hours, the more hours of active burning you're going to have. So temperature varies with altitude, forest cover, terrain, aspect. It's warmer in the valley bottoms, of course. You've experienced this. It's warmer on the south-facing slope, cooler under the canopy of the forest. More forest cover means cooler temperatures down below. And then generally, the higher up you go in the mountain, the cooler it's going to be. But then you get inversions when the warm air rises, and sometimes up in the higher terrain, it can be quite warm, even late in the afternoon, even early in the evening, and this can affect fire burning. We'll see you next time. Bye now. Well, we got Sean Keon, Muckwa, we got Noelle Chaos left. Which one of you wants to hit on mute first? Sean,
I'm here, Mr. Joey Only, sir. How you doing?
Good, old brother. Good to see you.
Hey, Frankie, I love the enthusiasm in your weather reporting. You're full of great information. Thank you very much for covering all the hard stuff for us.
Yes, especially big winter storms in Ontario in the winter months when there's a big winter storm headed for Toronto and those places.
Right on, right on.
So tell everybody where you are, Sean, and talk to us about what the weather's been like there. Now, south of you, right, in southern Ontario, there was some very severe weather just passed, and I don't see any Gabriel Berardo here to talk about it, and that was pretty south of you. probably have a different experience up there on the Canadian Shield.
I'll tell you a little bit about the weather up here. It's been kind of crazy. We just had this huge, weird windstorm that come out of nowhere today. So I own my own business these days, eh? I own a lawn cutting company. It's doing pretty darn good too. So I depend on the weather. It's got to play ball with me. Otherwise, I can't cut grass in the rain, right? So I woke up this morning, little story for you. And I walked out, it was morning, it was wet. There's some small droplets falling out of the sky, staining my windshield as I went to McDonald's for my coffee. I wasn't really feeling too enthusiastic about going out and cutting lawns today. Didn't really think the weather is going to be playing ball with me. But anyways, I picked up my partner there for the day, and it just happened to be that my partner I picked up for the day there is my brother's mother's my nephews. Yeah. So I picked up my nephews and their mother there, and I brought my nephew and niece to school there, and then I put her to work. Well, first, I didn't think we were going to be able to get doing any kind of work whatsoever. But I says to her, I'm optimistic. Let's go down to Cutler then. The Indian res over yonder where magic happens and the Creator answers all prayers. We drive down, it rained. I got turned on my windshield wipers. My windshield wipers are going like this, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I got to cut grass somehow today. Anyways, I don't think too hard about it. I just drive, and I'm driving. I'm going to Cutler, kind of like you going down to Quesnel. Anyways, I had to go pick up gas and a carton of smokes anyways, so it was worth the money going down there one way or another. So I pull into that old Indian rest stop on the highway there at Cutler there, right before the Elliott Lake turnoff. I went and checked the old weather rock. And for those of you watching that don't know nothing about the old Cutler weather rock, they got this big sign made up and a rock held up by a string. And beside that, they got a big sign. And it says, if rock is wet, it's raining. If rock is cold, it's cold. Oh yeah, I'm telling you. It says this. If rock is swinging, it's windy. If rock is wet, oh, I already said wet. If rock is cool, it's overcast. If rock is hot, it's sunny. And then the final line on it is, if rock is gone, tornado. So I'm happy to report that when I went down there at 9 o'clock this morning, the rock was still there. And it wasn't white covered in snow.
Excellent.
And it wasn't dripping. I broke it all down, and according to the weather rock and the chart provided, I broke it down to overcast.
There's nothing that a weather rock won't tell you.
Exactly. All you got to do is give it the opportunity and believe in it.
Just got to listen to the rock.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I put a little prayer down there and put some tobacco down, and I seen a friend and lifted my spirits. So I went to go buy my daily rations of tobacco and other smoke from a good friend of mine just down the highway down there. And he looks at me and he sees me coming in with my big old truck there. And I went out and I got myself a bunch of magnets to put on my truck saying lawn cutting and all that junk. The guy who sold me that told me advertisement doesn't cost. It pays. Well, this guy's got about 3.5 acres that he wants cut.
What is the price of gas in Elliott Lake right now?
It's just hovering around about 220.
Joe Stover, the price of gas in Winnipeg?
207.
Oh, wow.
Churchill?
When I left a few weeks ago, it was 256. But with this new one that's going to be coming in, it'll be tickling $3 pretty soon.
What about jet fuel?
What about the price of gas up in Kugluktuk, Nunavut, where Olivier is at?
It's subsidized up there in Nunavut. Gas, I think, right now is sitting at about $1.19 because it's the same gas that was brought there this past summer. So it lasts them, and they pay the same amount for it. It's also subsidized by the Nunavut government. So Churchill, Manitoba, and Alberta, Nunavut, they're about 200 kilometers apart. Arviat is 200 kilometers north of us, and they're paying about $1.50 less. Probably almost $2 once this new fuel comes in. So it's crazy. But
I would drive to Kugluktuk right now if I could afford gas.
I was supposed to be on a trip to Alberta to go to a music camp, but it's just too expensive for me to go. So
Brandon Houck, what is the price of fuel in Alberta?
It is $1.91. A little cheaper.
Frankie McDonald, what do you got there in Sidney, Nova Scotia?
And then there's around 205 a liter.
What's the price of a teen burger there?
Teen burger, I do not know.
I wonder if there's a discrepancy in the price of teen burgers between BC and Sidney, Nova Scotia. Rob, what's the price of gas been like in Fraser Lake?
$2.19.9.
So
it's brutal expensive.
In Vancouver, when I left, gas was almost at $2.40. And then once you get out to the Fraser Valley, it was down to about $2.18. And then the average throughout like the interior and the Caribou seemed to range from $2.15 to about $2.30. And then when you get into Alberta, like Edmonton and outside of Calgary and areas around Lethbridge, I saw gas as cheap as $1.80. And I couldn't believe when Alberta was complaining about their expensive gas. The cheapest gas I saw all tour, I believe outside of Lethbridge, where I saw it for around $1.80. And the most expensive was obviously in Vancouver.
Brandon, what was the price of fuel or gasoline rather in Alberta before all of this, before inflation went super crazy? What was just for comparison? Like I know in Winnipeg, it was sitting at about $1.19 before things just kind of started to creep up. So that's where it was in Manitoba anyway.
I got something else to say. Cryptocurrency crashed. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin crashed.
We're paying about $1.50 here in Ontario, give or take 10 cents or two.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's I know whenever I take road trips from southern Manitoba into northern Ontario, I usually take the northern Ontario way when I drive to Windsor. So I take the 17 the whole way, and you just kind of watch as you go through Kenora, Dryden, Ignis, like the price just goes up the further
Best
east.
place to buy is right outside North Bay at the Indian Reserve.
See, I always miss that because I take the Chichimon from Manitoulin Island, so I always miss the North Bay.
Yeah, I guess that's why they sell it so low. Everybody misses them. They're trying to get in the customers who they're missing.
Yeah, I guess so.
Save
Sorry
yourself,
about that.
save yourself $20. Drive an extra 5 clicks.
Yeah, exactly. What was it, Brandon, before everything kind of went nuts?
I'd say about $1.09, $1.10.
Wow.
So that sounds about right then.
What's the price of a teen burger like in Brooks, Alberta?
It's confirmed Imogen's on his way.
Excellent.
About $4, yeah.
$4?
Yep.
For a teen burger? No, you must be confused. That's like a mama burger or a buddy burger.
Everything's more expensive in Alberta, I think, except for fuel, apparently.
Like a teen burger goes like, it's $8 something here. What's a teen burger go for, Joe?
In Winnipeg, teen burgers are about what Brandon said, about $4. So
$4 for a teen burger.
$4. I think they were actually doing a two teen burgers for $7 deal not too long ago. So.
Yeah, I've seen those before.
Hey, what's the gas prices in somewhere in California? Gas prices nearly $10 a gallon. They go by gallon in the States.
We're paying anywhere for $6 to $7 for a burger, no matter where you buy it.
Whatever happened to $5 footlongs? Now they're $5 for a fifth of a foot long, I think. That joke did not land. I apologize for my terrible fast food joke.
Oh, it landed.
Oh, it landed. I was just too busy trying not to laugh because I'm on the internet.
Oh, thank you,
It's
Sean.
like being on TV. Hi, Mom.
Good man, Sean. Way to make me feel good. Thanks,
I'm trying to behave myself here, okay?
Quite frankly,
landed. Trust me, it landed.
your joke was hilarious. You should say it again, and you should say it again next week too.
Okay, I will.
And I'll have a report from the old weather rock as well.
Brendan Houck, you must have some great new weather jokes.
I got a weather joke.
When is Monday coming?
When is Monday coming?
Monsoon. That's when Monday's coming. Ooh.
Right.
I like it. How do you prevent a summer cold?
Catch
it in the winter. Brandon knows. I apologize for that joke also.
These jokes do not necessarily represent the views and humor of the Comedeorological Report.
All right, I got a joke for you here. It's a winter joke. The old Indian chief there, the people there, they all look at him and they say, is it going to be a tough winter this year? And he says, I will let you know in the morning. So he walks all the way to the payphone. Miles to the payphone. And he phones up the meteorologist and he says, is it going to be a cold winter? And the meteorologist says, oh yeah, it's going to be a real cold winter. You better prepare. So the chief walks all the way back and he tells all his people, go collect lots and lots and lots of firewood. It's going to be a cold, cold winter.
That's what they said a long time ago. I did my forecast on YouTube.
So anyways, they go out and they chop lots and lots and lots of firewood. And they come back and they ask the chief, are you sure it's going to be a cold, cold winter? And he says, I will tell you in the morning. And he walks all the way back to the payphone and he phones up the meteorologist. And he says, are you sure it's going to be a cold winter? And he says, absolutely, it's going to be horrific. So he goes back to his people and he tells them what the meteorologist said. And they go out and they cut double the wood.
What about another amateur? What about another weatherman, Creel, backing off? He's taking pictures online.
Ask them there, they says, are you really sure it's going to be that bad of a winter? Look how much we stocked up. And he walks back to the payphone to the meteorologist for the third time. And he says, how can you be sure that it's going to be that cold of a winter? And he says, I've been watching the Google Earth satellites. Have you seen how much wood the Indians are collecting?
Dude, what about another meteorologist called Creel backing off? He's a weatherman far off Russia. He does forecasts and things like this.
Yeah, what about him?
He's doing good these days.
Is he watching Google to see how much wood the Indians are collecting? Is that what's going on, Frankie? Is that your tie-in?
So here's the big question of the week that I have, and the question is Imogen Bailley a Maxim cover girl?
Not yet, but I'm working on it.
Hey.
This morning, I was in 5th place in my group. I think at the moment, I'm bumped down to 6th, but we'll see how it goes by this evening. I'm watching the scores.
If there's a place to
Best
vote,
of luck.
I'll sign up and vote for you.
The link is on my personal website, www.imogen.in. I've got the link on there to vote for me for the competition for Maxim Covergirl.
You got my vote.
Yay!
So where are you there in the background? Are you in the future?
I wish. It's. I got to say though, it is pretty bright. That's why I'm wearing the shades. So I might be. Brandon, you're not old enough to get that one.
Future so bright you gotta wear shades.
In theory, yes.
The old Timbuk 3-bit. I love it.
So of course we're totally supporting and wishing you luck in your quest to become Maxim cover girl. Talk to us about the weather this week, Imogen, down there in Victoria, British Columbia.
Crazy, sunny, and weirdly bright and warm today. Intermittently hot. Why is it hot? We've been getting cold weather warnings. It's January. We've had a snow warning, and today was hot. So our weather knows less than our actual meteorologists do. I just know that when I go outside and it's roasting and I really just need to take off half my clothing because it's uncomfortable, then I am ignoring the meteorologist from this point on and just sticking with t-shirts and shorts. That's what I'm doing. So
just stick your head out the window before you go places and you'll be fine. Just stick your head out the window and see.
Yeah, carry a bathing suit, carry shorts, and carry a parka in your car. That's the standard for the weather on the island.
That sounds the weather rock. You need a weather rock.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, I'll do you one better. I'll give you an old Indian secret right now.
Sweet. It won't be secret though.
Oh, it'll be sacred.
Oh, okay, that's even better.
Oh yes,
Dish.
Is even better. Only go out after 10 in the morning and be back before 5.
I love it.
We got Olivier Forbes Boullion. He's up in Kugluktuk. And we so rarely get you on, Olivier. Talk to us about spring in Kugluktuk. Nunavut.
It's a beautiful, balmy day today. I think we hit +2 or +3. Haven't seen the sun set in about 2 months now, so going a little crazy. But hey, that's what spring's like up here above the Arctic Circle.
What's the gas price there right now, Olivier?
$1.19. How about you? $3?
Tickle, getting close.
Too much.
So we've all decided that we're going to drive to Kugluktuk, where the gas is cheaper. Once we can afford.
If you find a road that comes up here, you let me know.
If I got to drive there, I'll live there.
We're going to be taking sled dogs up there. I'm on board with that.
There you go.
We're going to need jobs.
My cat can pull us on a sled.
This can be our job. The Comedeorological report will just be us, and people will give us money from all over the world.
But we'll all be in the same spot.
Send us to Kugluktuk, people.
24/7 nonstop broadcast. Yeah, we could do that. The only problem is we got data caps here, and we pay about $4 a gig, so it'll add up.
Pour some of that cheap gas into it, maybe, and even it out.
Has there been many people, Olivier, up there utilizing Starlink, or are you guys too far north for Starlink?
You know, 2 years ago I applied for it. They're like, yeah, you're gonna get it in like 12 months, and then boom, 12 months came by, and they're like, oh yeah, there's gonna be delays because of COVID, and that was 12 months ago. So I'm hoping by like 2030, maybe 2040, we'll get Starlink up here.
I'm still just pissed that COVID made my pizza late.
You didn't get it for free?
You didn't blame anything on COVID.
I love that the 30 minutes or it's free thing is still around. That was discontinued in like 1987, but it's such an element of social lore that it's still, you know, I can't imagine how many times a night, every Friday night, every Saturday night, every jerk who has to answer the phones has to hear that. 30 minutes or it's free, right?
Doesn't apply to any West Coast free range sourced ethical pizza, new age Wonder Bread or anything like that. Any place that sells that does not have a 30 minutes or it's free deal. They can't even make their pizza in 30 minutes. I'm telling you.
They just guarantee same day delivery, so that's a win for them.
Boy, I tell you one thing, buddy. You got to build yourself a stone oven, and you got yourself a pizza business in Wells. 30 minutes or it's free.
There's already like 2 places selling pizza in Wells, and the last thing I want to do with my life is sell pizza.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
It practically sells itself, though, Joey, because you can use that only 30 minutes.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't sell
And
itself.
not only that, you can hire people to cook and make the pizza for you, and all you gotta do is collect the money.
You're like Papa John, except not a DICK.
Yeah, be an owner of a business, buddy. That's what I did with my lawn care company. Everybody else does the work, and I just collect money.
Well, to be fair, Joey, it looks more like he's going for a job as the Unabomber's stand-in.
I thought
Yeah,
he
you
was
look
playing,
kinda
I
cold
thought he was
there,
playing
Joey.
high stakes.
I resent that fact. That's supposed to be my job, okay?
Did you hear about that? Over in Russia, they closed a lot of things off. They added more sanctions and things like this. My computer chip goes 25 megahertz maximum in Russia.
Everything is getting more expensive. What's the price of burgers in Russia?
Says that the price of burgers in Russia is potato.
Also known as the basis for vodka, so yes.
In Russia, a typical fast food meal costs $6.10 US, 350 rubles for a McMeal at McDonald's. That was the final price, I'm telling you.
In Russia, a burger hams you.
You beat me to it, Imogen. I had that on deck. My Yakov Smirnoff finally was ready to go, and Imogen cut me off.
Sorry.
I think they changed the name of the Big Mac. It's the Big Putin now.
That should be that should be the name of the fries.
I thought that should be named after the chicken.
If you're eating it, you're putting it in the bowl real soon, so, it works.
I'll have a Soviet burger and a side of Putin. Can you Putin my fries, please?
You gotta wonder something. Was the biggest man in Russia really so mad at the West just because he was named after a bunch of fries smothered in gravy covered in curds?
No, he's mad at Quebec for that.
Over in Iran, they're getting stricter and stricter in Iran. That means over in Afghanistan, it's under Taliban rule. You're not allowed to do this much over in Afghanistan. Iran, all Western cultures banned in Iran altogether. Over in the Middle East, women have to be all covered up over in those countries because they're really strict.
How much does a Taliban charge for a burger?
Good old barter system.
When a journalist goes over in North Korea, you're not allowed to take pictures. You're not allowed to go to rural areas in North Korea, period.
You're also not allowed to take pictures of the statues or any pictures of dear leader, supreme leader, like all the three dynasties there. You have to take. You can take a picture of the statue, but it has to be the whole statue. You can't take a cutoff. Same with the pictures. You have to, if you're going to take a picture of a portrait of any of these leaders, the whole portrait needs to be in the picture, because if you cut it off, that is disrespectful to the Juchi or whatever it is that they do.
I kind of agree with that.
Over there, they have to have a picture leader in every room in the house.
You can't take pictures off the wall either. If you're in the hotel lobby, do not take pictures off the wall. You will get in trouble in North Korea.
Yeah, but that's a rule everywhere. You're not supposed to steal from the hotels.
Picture leader in every room of the house.
You try to steal pictures from the hotel? Is that how you found out that?
It was a high-profile news incident where a student traveling through North Korea tried to steal a picture off the wall from a hotel or something and wound up in jail, came back in very bad condition, died shortly after returning home. Yeah, so the takeaway is don't steal from a hotel. I mean, that's a universal rule. It's just the really serious about it there.
That's the extreme. Hey, Frankie, what in North Korea, who brings hydro?
Don't know.
I thought it was dear leader. That's right. Who makes the sun?
Dear leader.
Who brings the rain?
Dear leader. That's the supreme leader. Kim Il-sung.
That's right.
So the cost of a McDonald's meal combo in Iran is about $4.67 US.
There's McDonald's in Iran?
Apparently.
Yeah, I believe it's gender segregated. And let's
Well,
be
a liter of
real,
milk.
I know that in Israel they have gender segregated.
A liter of milk in Iran right now, 97 cents American. Fresh loaf of bread, 57 cents. Rice, $3.39 for 1 kilogram. 12 eggs, $1.40. Local cheese, $4.31. Beef, round $11.19 for a kilogram. Apples for a kilogram, $1.23. Iran sounds pretty awesome. Meal for 2 people, mid-range restaurant, 3-course, $28.45 American.
What's a minimum wage over there?
Except you're in Iran. So
I don't think there's a minimum wage in Iran.
Iran.
Well, there you go. Like,
36 cents, one-way ticket for transportation on a bus. Monthly pass, $13. 1 kilometer taxi fare is about 36 cents.
okay, so how much
Gasoline right now in Iran, 61 cents a liter.
Gotta send Trudeau to Iran to learn a thing or two from the great Ayatollah, I think.
Oh my God, 61 cents. That's like 30 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's Iran. So yeah, you like,
that's
you like to talk
that's
Iran
like the
down,
beginning
but
of COVID.
they got it pretty good. I'm
Well,
telling you.
I do have to interject in terms of the McDonald's there. So McDonald's has been banned in Iran since 1979, since the revolution, but they do have the knockoff that is basically almost menu for menu, item for item, but the brand is called McDonald's. McDonald's. And there's also the same there. They have a Burger King knockoff. It's called Burger House. They have the KFC, but they call it ZFC. And my favorite one, I think, is a Pizza Hut. Is not a Pizza Hut in Iran. It's a Pizza Hat. This is true. This is true. This is all true.
I mean, right after the last one, I was going to say I can't believe they took a bad thing and made it worse. But then when you threw in the Pizza Hat, that was just that's gold. That's genius. I love it.
I love it.
You've changed my view of all of the knockoffs. I love knockoff stuff, knockoff toys, like novelty toys, action figures and stuff. Ninja Turtle with a parachute. Why? It's a knockoff. But like knockoff food at that scale is so appalling. I love it.
Frankie McDonald, people in Sidney, Nova Scotia can find you outside A&W, but where can people on the internet find you?
My social media, my Twitter is at Frankie McD. My Facebook is Frankie McDonald. My Facebook public figure page is Frankie McDonald with a blue chat mark. My Instagram is Frankie McD 1984. And my TikTok is Frankie McDonald 1984. My Clapper is Frankie McDonald 1984. And my Snapchat is Frankie MACDON. And my Twitch is Frankie McDonald 1984. My Snapchat is Frankie MACDON. And my LinkedIn is Frankie McDonald. And my YouTube channel is Stocks Wolves. If you want to order Frankie McDonald shirts, go to frankiestore.ca. You got to search Frankie McDonald on Amazon to look for Be Prepared, a Frank Dog Guide to Life, Weather and Everything book.
That's Frankie McDonald. You've been listening to the Comedeorological Report on CFUR 88.7 FM and CKUW 95.9 FM. I am Joey Only here in Wells, British Columbia. You can find the video version of this show on my YouTube channel, Joey Only, Caribou Weather Dude, here in the Caribou region of British Columbia. Dude, go check out my YouTube channel. There's all kinds of stuff about educational things on weather, past episodes of the show, more than you probably have time to watch. Zone out. Enjoy. That's been the show for this week. We got to thank everybody for coming on. We've had some newbies, and it's been fun. Of course, we had the regulars, Joe Stover. We've had the regulars, Brandon Houck. We've had the regulars, Imogen Cookie Bailley. We've had Muckwa, Sean Keon, and Elliot Lake. Thanks for coming on, old brother. Noelle Chaos, just coming back around from her trip around, went to Alberta and back. She's in Vancouver. Rob Hall and Fraser Lake. Thanks for coming on the show, everybody. That's been the Comedeorological Report this week. Comedy plus meteorology equals comedeorology. This is your show about how much the weather sucks in Canada. I'm Joey Only. I said that already. Bye now.